Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Carter and I'm a senior team leader with Usborne Books and More, and I could not be more excited to talk to you guys today about reading with Usborne Books and More. I am passionate about literacy and about learning how to read because I was a public school teacher before I became a stay-at-home mom with my kids. I taught English and language arts, I taught reading, and I taught English as a second language. So this is something that's near and dear to my heart. Not to mention the fact that now I'm homeschooling my kids. And so these are the very books that I have used to help my kids learn how to read. The good news for you is that you do not need to be a teacher. You don't need to be a homeschooler in order to teach your kids to read. I'm going to show you what we have to offer that's going to help you out and make a world of difference for your kids, whether they're just starting out reading or maybe they've gotten a little ways and are kind of stuck. We've got the most awesome books for you guys. So let me show you what I'm talking about. There are 44 phonemes in the English language, so phonemes are just sounds, and they're important for your kids to learn in order to be able to sound out words and in order to be able to read. So what Usborne has done is they've broken down those sounds and they've created reading systems where the kids gradually learn certain sounds and then the next book builds on that and the next one after that builds on that and it continues. So there's great scaffolding for kids in this. So the first set that we have I want to share with you is called Usborne Very First Reading, and this is actually a very first reading set that I bought. And I'm just going to show you guys quickly what this is. So this is a series of 15 books. And it also comes with a parent guide. So like I said, you do not have to be a teacher in order to teach your kids how to read. But the parent guide rather, is really super helpful. It goes through what phonics are, it goes through what the system is teaching your kids. It talks about the different books and what you can be talking to them about as they're reading or learning how to read these books. And again, there are 15 hardback books in this set. I'm going to show you what the first one is like because this is the one that captured my son's imagination. Pirate Pat. So my son was not interested in reading at all until Pirate Pat came along. One of the genius things that Usborne does is they make their books funny. They're bright, they're colorful, and actually some of the things that help kids learn how to read are pictures that they can follow along that go with the words to help them kind of figure out what's going on. And also rhyme scheme is super important. Rhyming really does help kids learn how to read. So let me show you what Pirate Pat is like. So it says here, the night was cold, the sky was black, the window rattled, tap, tap, tap. So you can hear the rhyming in there. Now here's something that makes Usborne unique, and I think this is so cool, and this is what sold my son on this, is that this is actually shared reading. So if you look up here, this part is the part that the parent reads, and then down here, this is the part that the kid reads. So my son was not interested in having anything to do with reading until he saw how much fun this book was, and he saw that I was sitting there reading the book with him. And this is something that's so important in teaching your kids how to read, is just that closeness and developing a bond with them. And almost nothing else, I think, can develop that bond with your child, aside from having that close time together where you're both reading. It's such a great way to invest in your kids, even up through high school, believe it or not. You shouldn't stop reading to them even though they're big. They still need it even then. There's a lot of research that backs that up. Okay, but back to what we're talking about. When you share reading with your child, it helps build their confidence. And I really saw this happen with my son. He saw that I was reading some, he was reading some, so suddenly he forgot about the fact that he was reading and it was really hard. And he started really enjoying the story. So you'll see here goes the story. Again, you see the shared reading. And this reading is actually shared up through book 7. And then after that, they read on their own. And the cool thing about these books is at the end, after the story, you'll see that they're actual puzzles. So you'll see the first puzzle actually helps them with reading comprehension. They have to be able to retell what happened in the story using the pictures so you can tell how much of what they're reading they're actually picking up on. The second one, you have to match the words to the picture. And then in the third puzzle, it always has something to do with rhyming, which again is such a good skill for them to pick up in preschool, kindergarten, and beyond in order to help them learn how to read. So that is Pirate Pat. Again, the rest of the books are like that too, up through book 7, and then by book 8, which I'll show you, that would be Moon Zoom. By book 8, they're actually reading completely on their own, and it really worked because by, I think, book 6 or 7, they were trying to read the adult part and the child part as well. So they're definitely ready by the time they hit book 8. So here's an example of that. But you can see that the pictures are bright and engaging. It's a fun story. They want to be able to read these. So this is a great set. So the last thing I'll mention about this set is that you can also go to www.veryfirstreading.com and get more supplemental activities for your children that go along with the books. The second set that you can get, I don't have to show you. It's the only one I don't have. It's the Start to Read pack, and it comes with the first 4 books from the Very First Reading set. But it actually has 2 books at each level. So it has 8 books total, and it's these first 4 plus another level 1, another level 2, another level 3, another level 4. Also comes with a parent guide, comes with an alphabet chart for their wall, and stickers that they can put on that chart as they complete the books. Also a great option, it's $39.99, whereas the Very First Reading set is $69.99. But again, you don't get quite the value as that because, again, here you're getting a set of 15 books. So more books than that. And now I want to show you my very favorite reading set. In fact, my very favorite product in the entire Usborne catalog. And that is My First Reading Library. My First Reading Library has 50 books. So there you go. It has the exact same first 15 books that were in the Very First Reading set that I showed you. And like that Start to Read pack I was telling you about, it has 2 books for not only the first 4 books, but it goes beyond and has 2 books at each level for the first 7 levels. So cool. So as you can see here, it goes 1 through 15, and then it gets into these orange books here. By the time you finish this part and get into the orange books, these are kind of the beginning of leveled readers. So you can see they have names like The 3 Wishes, Anansi and the Bag of Wisdom. There are a lot of different tales from Aesop, like The Fox and the Stork, The Ant and the Grasshopper. So they're reading classic literature. By the time they get into the 3rd level here, the purple, again, these are also readers. You're getting into some nursery rhyme, folktale kind of things. Old Mother Hubbard, Miss Muffet, 1, 2, Buckle My Shoe, and then you have stories like King Donkey Ears, Clever Rabbit and the Lion, The Dragon and the Phoenix. And again, all of these rhyming, which really helps with children's phonemic awareness. You're building fluency with your child as they read. This one also comes with a parent guide. If you scan the QR code on the top, it's actually online. But I cannot say enough good things about this set. It is amazing. You'll notice that these are actually paperback instead of the hardback, but they're pretty sturdy paperbacks, and I really haven't had a problem with them either. So if you're comparing for value between the 2 that I've shown you so far, so there's, again, Very First Reading set. This one retails for $69.99. You get 15 books. Or for $10 more, you can get My First Reading Library and have 50 books. So that's 35 more books than the first set that I showed you. So it seems like a no-brainer to me. If this sounds like a lot to you, host a party. That's actually how a lot of my customers have gotten these books, is by hosting a party. So I highly recommend doing that, and that way you can get your reading library for free. So what else do we have besides the reading sets? Besides the comprehensive reading sets, we also happen to have books called Phonics Readers. So we've got tons of them. These are just a few. The newest one is called Seal at the Wheel. And these come in probably about halfway through either of these sets. So I'll just show you here. Probably about when your child gets up to around, I don't know, book 10, 11, 12 in this set. then they'll be ready for some of the phonics readers. And the phonics readers are great as supplements because they focus on specific phonics. So you'll see here it says seal at the wheel. They're focusing on that long E sound and how EA can make that sound and EE can make that sound as well. And the cool thing about the phonics readers is that they actually tell you at the back here a little bit about phonics and about the specific phonics that your child is working on. It talks a little bit more about phonemic awareness, how rhyming stories are good for that, alliteration, and guess what? These phonics readers and both the reading sets have that in spades. So if you look at the first couple pages here, you'll see it's a fun story. And this one, Seal is kind of a terror on the ocean and has to learn a lesson about sharing the waves. But they're funny, they're engaging. These are actually great preschool read alouds too, so you can actually get a lot of longevity out of this, aside from your child actually reading it for themselves. So how fun for them to read these stories and then eventually be able to do that for themselves. We have the phonics readers available in combined volumes as well, like Cow Takes a Bow, Raccoon on the Moon and Other Tales, and we have Ted and Friends. And Ted and Friends actually comes with a CD as well, so you can save your voice a little bit on that one, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, the next thing that I would like to show you guys is that we now have leveled readers. So you can see that they come in 4 different levels here. So you can see there's starting with the yellow, then it goes to green, then blue, then orange. I'll show you the back of one of them so you can see what I'm talking about. So level 1, let's see, there we go, is for new readers, and then you've got developing readers at level 2, confident readers at level 3, and then level 4, you're just right before chapter books. So where these come in is basically after the first 15, again, of the very first reading or the My First Reading library. So this is you're taking on what you've learned from those contained reading sets, and it's giving them a lot of extra practice and a lot of extra confidence. So these guys are really great if your child's already reading pretty well. You don't need the reading library, and maybe you just want a couple books that they're able to confidently read that they'll enjoy. These ones are great, especially because they actually have fiction, like this one, How Zebras Got Their Stripes, and it's mixed in with nonfiction as well. So I'll show you. There's this one about bears, for example. So I'll give you an idea of what it's like. So there's the bear walking through the forest. Tells a little bit about what bears are like, where they live. So if you're looking for good nonfiction, these readers are a really good solution for that. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what Usborne Books and More has to offer you and your child as you take that magical adventure toward helping them learn how to read. It is just amazing. So I hope that you enjoy your journey and that you take it with us.